Bloodhound knocked. Wraith cracked. Wraith knocked. Oh my goodness.
What's poppin', y'all? My name is Hawk. Welcome back to another Apex Legends video. Now, most of you guys haven't been able to get on yet and play arenas because the Apex Legends servers are yeah. So let's just move on right to it. I've been able to play about 28 games. I have really good win rate for this. I'll put my stats up on screen right now. Now you guys saw my stats. I did a little flex right there. I've been able to play quite a few games of arenas, and I've developed quite a bit of tips for you guys. So we're going to be talking about that right now. The first and most important 2 tips I have for you guys. Okay, so first we're going to be talking about tips from like what to buy all the way to like positioning. Like we're talking about so much stuff today. So first of all, I honestly want to say the 2 most important things, because if your teammates don't do these, there's a really good chance you won't win, right? So the first one is going to be crafting materials. There's usually 3. I don't think I've gotten to play on every map, but so far I've seen there's 3 crafting materials on every map. And when one person on the team gets those materials, the entire team gets them. So it's a full 200 crafting materials, right? There's one on the right side, one on the left side, and one in the middle, right? So if you guys can go to your side, it's very important. Every single round you need to be getting at least one of those. And if you can get 2 of them, even better, because your team got 2, and that means there's only 1 left, so the other team only has an opportunity to get 1 or 0. So you're going to be outclassing them in points. You need more points equals a higher advantage. That's like the RNG, except the RNG is removed. It's strategic stuff gives you an advantage later on. And crafting materials carry over to next rounds, but your equipment doesn't. So secondly, now this carries right into bins, right? Especially if you have a lifeline on your team. I'll cover this later, but bins are super important. So there's going to be 2 to 3 bins that spawn in every map. Like I said, 1 on the right side, 1 on the left side, and sometimes there's 1 in the middle. But most of the maps that I've seen only have 2 bins, right? So you need to be getting a bin almost every map or every game. If you don't, it's okay, but it saves you some money on materials. If you only purchase like 1 battery or something, you get 2 batteries, a med kit, and a Phoenix kit in there, so you guys can split that up between your squad. And if you do have a lifeline in your team, every bin can be opened another compartment. And I want to say it's 6 cells that come in there, so it's a good amount of cells. So that means each one of your team can have 2 more cells, or someone can just grab them all. So that's extremely, extremely important if you have a lifeline in your team. That lifeline has to hit that bin, because it saves your team so much points. Now, next one here, you guys, is zones, right? So either the zone's going to favor the right side or the left side, and with that zone will spawn the care package, right? So care package weapons, they come in later on, or each round goes on, they get higher tier, and it's super nice. It'll go into another tip I have later to be able to get there. So if you want to, I prefer going off the bat to the right or left side, whichever one that the ring is favoring, right? And holding that high ground, because if you don't and they go there, then you're going to be on the other side and you're going to be in a long range gunfight. That's why it's nice. I'll cover this in a little bit. It's nice to have at least one person with some kind of long range weapon, whether that be a 30-30, a G7 Scout, even a bow or a longbow. Any of those weapons, it's good to have at least one person who's your marksman on the team. Now, our next tip here, you guys, is what to buy that moves in perfect, right? But as far as, I'll cover zones really quick a little bit more. As far as zones go, you guys, you just want to get up there and try to hold that zone from the very beginning and hold your angles. Okay, I have some big tips coming up. So now, what to buy. Make sure, once again, you guys, make sure you're saving money on what to buy. And the next one, you don't need to fully upgrade your guns and buy 2 big guns, right? The Mozambique and the P20 are free, so make sure you grab the Mozambique every game, because if you don't and only buy 1 gun, it will randomly select a P20 or a Mozan, and you want the Mozambique. 6 shots in that, it's super powerful. Make sure you're grabbing the Mozambique. Now, it moves on to the next one, you guys, is so for starting the game, what I was doing the Volt, but then I discovered the, for first round, keep in mind, so you don't have a lot of money. I've been grabbing the Volt, and it was working okay, but recently I've been getting the Havoc because it only costs 350. You're not going to be good at long range fights, but the Havoc did get a good buff. It feels a lot similar to the Season 4 Havoc. I'll be making its own video on the Havoc soon because I love that weapon in Season 4, and it's kind of back in the meta. So yeah, I recommend either the Havoc or the Volt for starting out. Havoc is going to save you like 150 crafting metals, and that's a whole battery you can get for saving that money. Now, going into the next rounds, what I like to do is, once again, grab the Mozambique for free, and and then usually, if it's round 2, I like grabbing the flatline. Sometimes I'll grab the R301 on round 2, but I prefer the flatline because it's a little bit cheaper, saves me points for later on, and I'll upgrade it once. And then what I do is I go and grab like 2 or 3 bats, and sometimes a medkit, depending on how many points we gathered that round. And then moving on for all the next rounds, I like to grab an R301 and upgrade it 1 to 2 times at least. I like to do 2 if I can because I like that 2x sight on it. And then when I play, my strategy is I am not the long range guy. I am better close up. I'm good with my shotguns and my R301. So as you can see in most of these games, my teammates were running bows, which were extremely helpful for those long range fights. Moving on, you guys need shields, right? You make sure you're buying a bunch of shields, bats and stuff. And if one of your teammates, doesn't need to upgrade their weapon all the way or sacrifices that, they can buy extra batteries and then share them with the team. That is something I also did as well, because oftentimes I wouldn't buy a secondary gun. Now this moves on to my next tip, but before later rounds, I tend, if I have enough points, I will buy an R301, upgrade it twice, and then buy the Mastiff, because I've been pretty dirty with the Mastiff, as you saw in that intro clip. And then, okay, moving on, you guys. Now, with getting the Mozambique for free, okay? So if you kill an enemy, they drop their guns. So you can just grab their guns. And if you hold that circle and the care package comes down, you can get a weapon from that. It's going to spawn in with 3 weapons, usually better weapons, right? And a lot of ammo. So that's what I will do. I'll switch my Mozambique for that. Or if I kill someone, a lot of times they'll have like an R301. And, then I have 2 good guns. Or not an R301, I meant an R9. But then, yeah, anyways, I have 2 good guns rather than a Mozambique and a R301 or whatever else I'm running. Don't sleep on the Mozambique. It is extremely powerful with 6 shots, and it's even good for poking at like medium distance, just to get those extra points. And I'll cover the point system, or I'll cover like how you want to be dealing damage in a few minutes. Now, next, what legends to play? So I'm gonna say probably like the best 5 legends right now. I've been playing Valkyrie, it's it. Or actually, no, I switched it up a little bit. But last night I was only playing Valkyrie. Earlier in the day I played some other guys. But the best legends, like I said, was Lifeline, because she gets those 6 extra cells when she opens the bins. And then secondly, Lifeline is really good because of the gold bag. She can buy that every round except the first round, that gold bag, and get just get that gold bag every single round, so she can be rezzing her teammates with that. And then them coming back with half shield and half HP. Extremely overpowered that she's able to buy that. And being able to have a healer on your team to drop her drone is super good now. And being able to have someone that just can res you. And even her care package is pretty decent. Okay, guys, moving on to the next tip. Oh, no. I'm dumb. We gotta cover the other legends. Now, the next of them are Gibraltar. Extremely useful. You want to have a Gibraltar on your team. Bloodhound is really good as well. And Bloodhound, Bangalore, and Rampart. Rampart is super good as well. So yeah, I'm just spacing out. I'm not just making this stuff up. It's actually true. Lifeline, Gibraltar, Bloodhound, Rampart, and actually Bangalore. I wasn't expecting Bangalore to be good, but we were talking about this last night, and one of my teammates was running Bangalore a lot. And it was actually so helpful, let me tell you guys, especially if we had a Lifeline on the team with the Bangalore. Bangalore smokes, Lifeline does the res. They can't see that res happening. So extremely good to do. But those are the 5 legends that I've noticed have been high tier. I haven't been able to play or experiment with every legend composition yet, but as time goes on I will. But so far those seem to be the meta legends. And yes, you guys, Rampart is actually pretty good in this arenas mode. Very good. Okay, you guys, moving on. So positioning, you guys want, as I already covered positioning, but I'm going to cover angles here. So you want to be holding your angles and just poking out on damage. So these are my last 2 points here, positioning and every point counts. I have these topics written down in my notebook. So you just want to be holding your angles on these walls, and it's okay. You don't want to be aping every kill, right? You want to be just poking out, dealing damage, getting back, poking out, dealing damage, getting back. If you knock a guy, you don't want to full send. Never full send, okay? If you got a guy down to like 1 HP and his teammates there or whatever, you don't want to be trading kills. It's not Battle Royale where trading kills is acceptable. Don't trade kills. Don't go and ape. If you hit a guy for 150 and he has like 20 HP left, you're leaving him, okay? If you need to reload and you're like half health, you're not chasing that guy. You dealt the damage. You won that fight. Your team comes out on top for that. Now you guys got to think how serious this is and why buying batteries is so important, because every single point counts, right? So if your team, and that's why getting bins is good. If your team can get more points, listen up, more points, then your team has essentially more HP, more health, right? If they can get more batteries and all of that, you have more health points and shield points. So you're going to be at an advantage. That's why when you're holding your position and you're constantly healing up, it's so important to have a lot of heals, because you're going to be taking damage. And the idea is here to deal more damage than you take, or have just more heals in general and let your enemies waste their heals, right? That's what you want to do. That's why every point counts. If you hit a guy for 10 HP, that counts. If he uses a cell for that, you won. You won that fight. He had to use the cell. You didn't. Right? It doesn't matter how much damage you're hitting for, as long as you're dealing damage, because every point counts. You got to think about it. If you guys all have purple shields or whatever, that's a combined total of 600 hit points your team has. So does the other team, right? So it's a combined total of 600 points each. But then you stack your batteries on top of that. If you have more batteries, right, one battery is going to be healing you for 100 points on your shield. So if your team has a combined total of 10 batteries, that's 1,000 hit points. And their team has a combined of 5 batteries, that's 500 hit points. You guys are at the advantage, especially if you can get the time to heal that off. That's what you get. That's my main focus of this, you guys, is every single point counts. That's why going for bins is important. Lifeline needs to go get those cells and distribute them to the team from the bins. Getting materials is important. Sometimes, you guys, I will craft 3 to 4 batteries, and I'll share them with my team, or just be greedy and keep them for myself. As you guys saw my stats, I only lost 8 games. I won out of 28 games, I won 20 of them. And some of those lost games were due to server issues, and I even got into, I think, 2 games, or maybe 1, I forget now. It was at least 1 game where it was 1v3 the entire match, and I actually almost came back and won that. So I have definitely developed a lot of strategy for this. Sorry this video was longer, but it's caked full of tips and all of that stuff. So I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.